It's Dan from the Mike James Rock Show, and I'm going to get this lovely gentleman to introduce himself.
I'm Joel from the Amity Affliction. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's all right, sir. First time that my show has ever managed to interview you, I believe.
Yeah.
But definitely not the first time for Amity. So if I seem a little bit excitable, it's because Aaron's hyped me up over the years into being really excited to talk to you guys.
Right on.
But the other reason I'm super happy to talk to you is that you guys went back in a heavy direction at the end of last year.
Yes.
For the 3-track EP.
Yes.
Which I'll admit does slip my mind the name of it at the moment because I'm terrible with names.
Somewhere Beyond the Blue.
That was it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go Beyond the Blue, but I'm glad I didn't take a guess.
Yeah.
Now, was that just what you guys had written, or was it a response to being locked down for a couple of years? I mean,
well, we just wanted to make new music. We didn't want to make a full album because no one knew when things were going to kick off again. And I don't know. We've always written how the band as a collective is sort of feeling, and that's what came out. So
nice.
Yeah.
Because I've always really enjoyed the last few years because you had the Keys Heavy album with Doomsday and Ivy and all that sort of on it, which I loved. And then watching the set since, you guys have got such variants now live.
Oh yeah.
I imagine it's nice also being able to go, no, this is some new heavy as well that we can introduce.
Yeah, and I mean we're only a few weeks away from going into the studio again. And
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's heavier still. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you? Because it was around an album or so back that Ahren said that he also started screaming on stuff as well.
He started screaming on the EP.
Yeah.
Actually recorded.
Really?
Yeah, but he he fucking screams live all the time.
I was gonna say
it's like when he's pissed off, he'll scream. So if he fucks up a line, I don't know. When he thinks he fucked up, I can't hear it, but then he just starts screaming.
I think that's the neuroticness that comes out about your live show, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. He sounds great to me.
Well, to me as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But,
it's very, very rare. I think I could count on one hand how many times over the last 18 years or whatever I've thought, Jesus. So that's pretty good.
Well, that's a high praise for a bandmate right there.
Yeah, well, that's well over 1,000 shows. So
it's crazy when you think about it, isn't it? So I imagine that meant that lockdown was a little bit of a change for you guys because you've always been quite road dogs, you know?
Yeah, but we needed it. We definitely needed it. I think we were starting to kind of hate our job, and it was becoming a real grind. And then the first 6 months we were like, this fucking rules. And then after that it was like, nah, this sucks.
It got everything you wanted, too much.
Yeah. So I got bored and went to uni, which I now have to drop out of.
I was going to say, did that work? But you've covered that.
It worked, but now I have to drop out. So I'm putting off emailing my professor actually, because she's going to be upset. But yeah.
So good start, but then very bored.
Bored, crushing depression.
I feel you on that.
No purpose.
Feel you on that. Yeah. Bouncing off the walls inside the house.
Yeah, just relationship stress and all the other stress that comes with it. My wife and I are very free people.
So road life kind of suited you guys.
Road life is really good for us. It's nice for us to have our space, and then we were just together. Yeah, and we've never been together for that long. And let's just say it didn't suit us.
So I imagine that getting out live, you took out a lot of that frustration at being in lockdown back out on stage.
Yeah.
Is it still sort of coming out in live shows, do you reckon?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, that's playing the show is cathartic any day of the week, you know? I do have bipolar, and it's not it doesn't go away.
No, I do appreciate that.
Yeah, so it's the shows are very important for me though.
And would you say that you're getting back a similar sort of balance to what you had before pandemic now that we're getting the live industry back a bit, or is it still, because I'm finding some of the cancellations they get my anxiety going up a little bit, which, because I've always said I'm a depressed person. I do a side quest in anxiety when I get bored with depression.
I've got bipolar with depression. anxiety every now and then. Not so bad, but sometimes I'm just like, oh.
Right, so like with a couple of cancellations, but when like this has gone ahead, there's been barely any like lineup changes. This has been, but then again, it was the same last year. Slam Dunk was weirdly reliable at being getting you guys across. So.
Yeah, that's true. I know, like, before we went to America, and everyone was like, oh, you're going again? And I was like, I'll believe it when I'm standing on the stage.
Yeah.
And not until then. Too many times I got my hopes up, and then, like, we booked a fucking tour for 2020 in Australia.
Yep.
And we haven't played it yet.
Right?
Yeah.
So you still on backstage
it's in July.
tours.
Yeah. So that's just insane. You know?
But obviously, because you did Slam Dunk North yesterday and you're on the second day today, are you finding that the English crowds haven't let you down too much?
Yesterday was so hot that it was like very hard for people to move around, but they were very loud. So it was good. For the other guys, I think, because they've got both, I take one of my in-ears out.
So you can feel the crowd a bit?
Yeah, I can't live without that. So, so I take one out. And
you are kind of managing the energy of the crowd a little bit as well, aren't you?
They were like, oh, they didn't move much. And I was like, yeah, they were really fucking loud though, but they couldn't hear them. And they were like, oh, I don't know.
Is everybody going one ear?
No, they've all got two. So they can't hear anything.
No, I wondered it today if they're thinking like, it's still quite hot and muggy over here, maybe slip one out, who knows?
They never do. Ahren needs it for singing, and then Dan needs it because he runs the music. And Joe obviously needs it because he's the drummer. So I think Joe has is like click and his drums, and that's it.
That still amazes me. Like, it's like, but
I don't understand it.
Now, this is why I say drummers are machines.
They are.
They are actually cyborgs, just with tattoos. You know.
Yeah. Well, it takes a certain person to be a drummer.
It really does.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could probably like sit and chat to you for a while because, like I say, I now call myself an aging metalcore kid or middle-aged metalcore. I'm not sure which, but
geriatric millennial.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I am. I've started having trouble with technology. I'm just like,
I'm stabbing screens with one finger now. Do you know what I mean? The funny thing is like, I don't know if you find this because we talked a little bit about mental health. And I normally like, festivals aren't normally the place to go deep into it, but it feels like being a similar age that we've gone from being like almost the attention-seeking emos in our youth to being almost forefathers of mental health. Because I do interviews about it, you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
And now suddenly we're like respected for talking about mental health.
Yeah, I remember like, because I tried to kill myself like 2009 or something, and I remember friends being like, "You're a fucking pussy, like fucking man up," and I was like, "Oh,
what the fuck is that?"
Okay. And I talked to the psychiatrist at the hospital, and because I got committed for the night. And I was explaining everything to her, and she goes, "Oh, you're chronically depressed." And I was like, "Oh." And then a few years later, well, not a few years, like I don't know how many years later, and I went, our manager was like, "Man, I've booked you in to see a psychiatrist because I think you might have bipolar or something." And I was like, "Fuck you, but I'll go." And then they were like, "Yeah, you've got bipolar." And I was like,
similar, very similar.
Cool.
Well, one thing I can say for the fact that you've like sort of pushed through it and everything like that, you do have at least one person out there that most certainly has used your music to try and turn that balance from when I'm low to being back
cool.
sort of high.
Thank you, man.
Often, I always say that you can tell when it's written from a place of experience.
Yeah.
And often when I'm listening to you guys, I'm listening to somebody that knows what they're talking about, do you know what I mean? And I know that because I do a lot of these types of interviews where we get a lot of comments. Maybe they don't come back through to you, but there's a lot of kids out there that feel exactly the same, that they know when music speaks to them, you know?
Yeah.
So I thank you for putting it in your music and doing the stuff out on stage, because it does help idiots like me out there that struggle a lot, going, well, there's somebody that I liked you before I found out about that stuff just because of the style. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, I can relate to this so hard. Yeah. So. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Probably, I mean, I can see a PR lurking, so we should probably wrap up. She is lurking. She's lovely. See her. She's giving the eyes. Yeah. We've used Hayley since we started coming here in like 2009. So. Yeah, no, she's one of the best. Yeah, she's the best. I will thank you for a couple of minutes with me, dude. Thank you very much. It's been awesome.
Welcome to the My James Rock Show.